Just months into U.S. President Donald Trump's second term, Taiwan faces a double whammy. As Chinese President Xi Jinping lobbies Trump to formally oppose Taiwanese independence, the White House is pushing Taiwan to move a significant portion of its semiconductor industry to the United States. In return, America is guaranteeing Taiwan protection against China. Chinese leader Xi Jinping is preparing to use upcoming high-level meetings with President Trump, including one that could likely happen in Korea on the sidelines of the APEC summit, to push for a major shift in American policy. Xi Jinping wants a formal statement from Donald Trump opposing Taiwan's independence. For Xi, this would go far beyond what has been America's stated position, which is that Washington does not support Taiwan's independence. Instead, if America were to explicitly say that they are opposed to Taiwan's independence, that would align much more closely with Beijing's position. It would also significantly weaken Taiwan's international standing and its claim to independence. This would, if it happens, once and for all, end the strategic ambiguity by America around Taiwan. Now, while the distinction between these two phrases, not supporting independence and opposed to Taiwanese independence, it appears to be semantic, but words carry weight in geopolitics. For Xi Jinping and for China, such wording would mark a move from neutrality to actively siding with Beijing. It would be a symbolic but powerful victory that could help consolidate Xi Jinping's position domestically. Analysts argue that achieving this shift would be the holy grail for Beijing because this would completely undercut Taiwan's confidence in America. Trump, unlike his predecessors, has avoided any firm commitments on whether America would defend Taiwan militarily. He has also said that by doing so, it would weaken his negotiating position with Xi Jinping. Instead, Trump has highlighted a personal assurance from Xi Jinping that China would not invade Taiwan during Trump's presidency. This ambiguity has raised questions about whether Washington is prioritizing a trade deal with China over its long-standing security commitments to Taiwan's sovereignty. But that is not all. The Trump administration is also pushing Taipei to shift a large part of its semiconductor chip production to the United States. The aim is that half of America's semiconductor chips are manufactured domestically. Washington has held discussions with Taipei about the 50-50 split in semiconductor production. If this were to happen, it would significantly reduce American dependence on Taiwan. This was confirmed by the U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, but Taiwan has reportedly rejected this offer. Why this is important is because Taiwan produces over 90% of the world's advanced semiconductors. And that is a cause of concern because of Taiwan's proximity to China and its long distance from the United States. Howard Lutnick's goal is to reach about 40% domestic semiconductor production in America by the end of President Trump's term, and that would require upwards of $500 billion in local investment. Taiwan's stronghold on semiconductor chip production is thanks to the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, or TSMC. It is the world's largest and most advanced chip maker, which handles production for American tech heavyweights like Nvidia and Apple. Taiwan's critical position in the global semiconductor production supply chain is believed to have assured it defense against military action from China. Now, this is often referred to as the silicon shield theory, that semiconductors will always mean, ultimately, an American security backstop. But recent moves by the Trump administration have fueled unease in Taiwan. The U.S. delayed military aid to Taipei. It denied Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te a transit stop on American soil while he was on a visit to Latin America. Eventually, he had to cancel that trip to Latin America. Officials say that the decision was designed to avoid influencing Taiwan's domestic politics. But critics see this as evidence of Washington soft-pedaling support for Taiwan in order to appease Beijing. Experts say that Xi Jinping views Trump's desire for a sweeping trade deal and his transactional approach to diplomacy as perhaps the best opening that China has had in years. If progress is incremental, then Beijing believes that persistent pressure could gradually erode Taiwan's trust in Washington. She has had some diplomatic success with Trump of late, particularly when it comes to tariffs. The tariffs on China have been paused for 3 months, but getting the United States to actively oppose Taiwanese independence, that doesn't seem like that much of a sure shot. Though Trump doesn't seem to give a damn about Taiwan, many in his party, the Republican Party, actually do. And this move, certainly in the US Congress, would be seen as unequivocally capitulating to China. The coming months will test whether Trump can balance his pursuit of an economic bargain with China with the need to maintain deterrence in the Taiwan Strait. American officials insist their one-China policy remains unchanged. But Beijing's strategy is to keep pushing until Washington tilts further away from Taipei. For Xi Jinping, a formal American rejection of Taiwanese independence would represent not just a diplomatic coup, but a step closer to his long-term goal of reunification. That would indeed, if it were to happen, make Xi Jinping the greatest Chinese leader since Chairman Mao. And it would have been with a little help from his friend Donald Trump.
Been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.